Hello and welcome to Inter Miami's weekly show, and obviously with my partner Kieran James Ricardo Gibbs, by the way. He's of Gaelic and Banyan, descent, am I correct? Banyan is Barbados.
Bayesian,
yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Unbelievable. Little fun fact here for people that didn't know Kieran Gibbs, obviously former English international, former Arsenal, and obviously Inter Miami. So Kieran, thanks for being here again. And today we'll talk about a lot of things, but in particular the incredible wins at home versus Toronto FC and Chicago as well. The inaugural Special Olympics unified team match that also was played against Chicago, the first ever at Chase Stadium. And obviously the incredible ceremony for our player, Inter Miami player Leo Messi, his 45th trophy, which makes him, by the way, the most decorated player in the history of this game, which is absolutely brilliant. And obviously, we got so much more, so please stay tuned. And Kieran, let's talk about that Toronto FC game, the 3-1 win, quite comfortably against a team that has struggled, but a team that still has some star power in Senya and Bernadeschi. And if you talk about key performances, I really want to talk about Federico Redondo. That was brilliant. 2 goals and an assist. I will get you some stats later on, which will really blow you away. And he's got the Royal Caribbean, iconic match as well. Player of the week, team of the week with Diego Gomez, who also had a golden assist. Diego now on his way to Paris with Benja Kramansky, representing both Paraguay and the U.S. So now let's talk about that 3-1 win against Toronto FC. Brilliant performance, in particular by Fede Redondo and Diego Gomez. This was a game from the start that Inter Miami took by the scruff, and here we're going to see some of the highlights. And you know what? Toronto came out and actually played a little bit. They got obviously a big-time player right here in Bernadeschi, and I'm telling you, if Kerr puts this one away, it's 1-0. Big miss for Toronto, keeping this team, Inter Miami, alive, obviously, in the 43rd minute. It's Fede Redondo finding depth. That first touch by Diego Gomez. The powerful shot past Sean Johnson to get us up at 1-0. And I'm telling you, that's a ball with backspin. Such a great first touch by Gomez, and then just the Boomba shoelaces through the ball. No chance for Sean Johnson, and gets us up 1-0. And Inter Miami continued to perform well. But Toronto with Bernadeschi, and these are huge, by the way, huge saves by Drake Callender to keep his team in contention. And then, you're building towards 2. And you can't find a better guy than Julian Gressel with a bend away. And then Fede Redondo getting, at the end of this one, overpowering Sean Johnson and getting us to 2-0. Huge set pieces have become such a big staple of this team. And I'm telling you, the build-up of this game and the build-up of this play here is absolutely brilliant. The interchange, ball from distance, Inter Miami continues to push the momentum, and then this is just brilliant. It all starts basically with Fede Redondo. It goes to Julian Gressel, the switch of the point of attack to find Gomez, the layoff, which, by the way, takes pace off the ball, the continuation of the run of Fede Valverde, and boom, here he goes, 3-1. Thanks for coming. I know that Drake wanted a shutout after a poor performance against Cincy. Unfortunately, Toronto just at the end tucked one away, but what a good win, by the way, against a team, as I said again, that has some star power as well. Jordi Alba involved, another great opportunity, far post by Ian Frey, just goes begging. But again, a superior performance by this team that this keeps coming and coming and coming. And Luis Suarez making finally his debut after he retired of the Uruguayan national team as the all-time leading scorer. And I just would love to, John Hertman there, and obviously Tata Martino, I'd love to talk to you, Kieran Gibbs, about the performance of Federico, and as we call him, Fede Redondo. What have you seen in his game, and where can he go as a very young player, only 20 years old?
I mean, it's crazy that you say 20 years old. It's pretty remarkable what he's doing at the moment. I really liked his performance the other night against Toronto. I think for me, he's a bit of a hybrid between, someone like Sergio Busquets, who likes to control games, and he has an amazing range of passing, like we see here for the first goal. But he also has a knack, recently we've seen, to break through the midfield and actually join in with the attack, and try and chip in with goals and assists. So that adds another string to his bow, if you like. I think that when he first came around, he has the profile of Busquets, but we're seeing another side to him, where physically he has that capability to get up and join the striker, and as we see here, getting forward and making those runs into the box and towering headers. He's showing a side that I didn't see in the early stages of his Inter Miami career, and this is amazing to see for him. He struggled with injury when he first came in, but this is a performance that really probably changed the perception of his Inter Miami career at the moment. Like this goal here where he breaks forward, he wins the ball, he doesn't stop his run, he wants to join in and he wants to affect games. So when you have a player like this at that age, it's really promising to see, and I thought he had a fabulous night the other night.
Yeah, just incredible. If you look at stats, 2 goals and 2 shots on goal, 1 assist. I'm telling you, 91% passing accuracy, 55 completed passes out of 72, which is incredible. 4 out of 5 tackles. You talked about he can do so many things as well. 3 interceptions and 14 recoveries for this guy that, by the way, has 2 teammates that also went through the century mark. Drake Callender, Robert Taylor, obviously getting their 100th game for Inter Miami, which was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, he is special, and he's got the traits of his father that played for Real Madrid, a taller, lankier guy, a lefty. Redondo is so comfortable with both feet as well, and drives forward. He can tackle. He can combine. It was absolutely nice to see for him to finally find his footing after some injuries. I thought maybe he would go to the Olympics with the Argentina national team, but he's not. As I said, Diego Gomez and Benjar Kamansky, the youngest player on the U.S. Olympic team, are there. So a lot of milestones, a brilliant performance by him, and an absolute masterclass by this brilliant guy. And if we're talking about masterclasses, that continued, quite frankly, against Chicago. But what I want to talk about is diversity. We had an inaugural match, the first ever game at Chase Stadium between Inter Miami CF, Special Olympics unified team against the Chicago unified team as well. And we're talking about inclusivity. We're talking about diversity, Kieran Gibbs, that you are familiar with, I'm sure as well. The freedom to dream that aligns so well with Inter Miami, what we think this South Florida great landscape should look like. And then we had some players coming there. Julian Gressel. We had also a pre-game support of our goalkeepers, Sebastian Saha, who led the warm-ups of those goalkeepers as well, with a vibrant atmosphere, with La Familia there. It was absolutely brilliant. So let's talk about, as I said again, inclusivity, which in the modern game is a big word right now, and something that we continue to do, and something that Inter Miami does so well, reaching out to the community, embracing people, being able to perform on this magic pitch for the first time ever was absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful to see. Wonderful to see. I mean, listen, we all have the right to compete, and we all have the right to be the best versions of ourselves, so that's what you see when things like this come together, no matter your circumstance and your situation. It's amazing to see that all of these different backgrounds and people come together to support a cause, and get behind a really positive movement.
Yeah, absolutely. They're in their 4th year right now. 2 players are selected to go to the All-Star game, where the unified game will be played as well alongside the MLS All-Stars. And it's become, as I said again, something that Inter Miami, we talked about freedom to dream, continues to reach out and do so many special things for this community. So I was part of that. I called the game, quite frankly. It was absolutely brilliant. Daniel Alonso scores. Peter Rees comes up with a big goal to get it to 2-2 as well. Just brilliant. Two females that were part of that too. It's just so inclusive and so diverse and so beautiful to see that. So again, Inter Miami, brilliantly done as always, and Chicago, a very valiant opponent, and it ended up being 2-2 and the correct scoreline. And Julian Gressel is giving all these kids medals and the smiles from here to South Beach, and that was absolutely brilliant. Talking about brilliant, let's go to our last game. Our last game obviously against Chicago, another win, and we like 2-1 wins, by the way, Kieran Gibbs. So it's absolutely amazing how this team, again, with 4 changes in the lineup, how Tata Martino is able to roll out lineups each and every time that are ready to compete, that are playing good football. We're a little bit under the cosh, but deservedly we're winners. And Robert Taylor, obviously, with that brilliant getting around the defender. Thomas Aviles with the great switch point of attack, showing that he's got something in his locker that we haven't seen before. And then finally, we needed, obviously, Matias Rojas to come alive. That's a good finish across his body, left-footed, far post, no chance. Little trickery there, short corner. Julian Gressel goes for the semi-Olympico right there, hits the crossbar. Redondo keeps it alive, hits again the crossbar too, and Miami just all over Chicago. Luis Suarez coming back from the Copa America, denied by the goalkeeper twice, but always involved as well. And then all of a sudden at 1-0, you think, we should have put this game out of reach. And Chicago, all of a sudden out of nowhere, drives forward. Great shot from the left fullback, shoelaces. And now you say, hey, Inter Miami, late. Can they do it again? Big mistake, obviously, between defender and goalkeeper. And then Jordi Alba. Thanks for coming, by the way. Such poise and so important. By the way, Jordi Alba is responsible for 10 points by him alone, has scored 3 winners. That's 9 points right there, and was involved in a draw as well. Jordi Alba, with the absence of Messi, has been absolutely huge. And let's talk a little bit more about, obviously, Luis Suarez coming back, the ability again for Matias Rojas to get to the scoreboard, and also for Luis Suarez to get some things going. Hey, Calendar, well done. Another 2-1 win, but maybe talk a little bit about what Jordi Alba brings to this team.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's the experience. With a lot of the players missing, he brings that in abundance. He has had such an illustrious career, and it's amazing to see him so fit still, and performing at such a high level. I feel like he's really helped the back line settle in moments of panic, which would, usually unsettle the team. He brings that stability, and he's still, chipping in tremendously with assists and goals. What's that? 4 goals, 7 assists. I think that's midfielder numbers.
Correct.
So really
and you
impressive.
can relate to that. I mean, you've played that position. Actually, and talk about that. Alba was a former winger becoming fullback. You started your career as a winger, as an 11. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then put back, but your strength also, not only defending, but you were very good going forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, you always try to create an overload against the team because, it's a very dangerous way of trying to, hurt a side. And he has been a weapon this season, along with Gressel as well with his set pieces. I would say that, Jordi Alba's inclusion of getting forward and supporting the attack has really given Miami and the boys, an extra piece of weaponry. So it's amazing to see that he's still performing at this level.
Yeah, it certainly is. And talking about levels and talking about taking a little bit of a break of MLS, the Leagues Cup is coming up. We talked about Messi getting his 45th trophy, by the way, which is the most decorated player in history. His 44th was, hoisting the cup for Inter Miami, winning the Leagues Cup, and that starts July 27th against Club Puebla at home. You can get your tickets. You know where to go if you need your tickets as well, and that's just going to be wonderful. A little bit of a break, a little bit of a Latin flair to it now. We're playing Tigres and Puebla. Hopefully, again, we can defend our title. Kieran Gibbs, looking forward to that Thanks for tuning in with Kieran, Gibbs, and myself. Can't wait to get back to you and talk about the win against Puebla and the win against Tigres next weekend.